Buddy, I just wanted to go over some of this gun stat stuff because I tell you it's just driving me crazy. The liberals that are eating this up, and God be with those families and everyone that lost children and loved ones in the last shooting. But what kills me is our liberal media, and you guys, I know the people I associate with know very well what I'm talking about, and we are conservatives. We do want to stick to what our founding fathers brought this country in. Taking away guns from law-abiding citizens is only going to bring crime rates up. I mean, that should be a known fact. Connecticut, for example, they've got like the fourth toughest, um, you know, gun laws in the country. But that's not going to stop some psycho crazed lunatic from going out and using a gun, a knife, a car bomb, pipe bomb, whatever, from doing the damage that they want to do. Uh, and think about it. Where do these things take place? Where do all the mass shootings where people are injured, which, by the way, shootings of multiple injuries are less than 1% of gun crimes in America. You know, it's never a positive thing, but it's not as big of an issue or as big of a ongoing happening that the media makes it out to be. It doesn't happen that often. I mean, cars have had more people killed than guns do, but yet liberals don't want to give up their cars because they want them. And I don't want to give up my car. I don't want to give up my gun. I don't want to give up, any right that I have to be here. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm an American. But, look at cities that have these crazy gun bans. Chicago, crime rates through the roof. Washington, D.C., where our politicians live, eat, sleep, breathe, and are supposedly doing their job, has one of the highest crime rates, in the country. Everybody talks about this Australia gun ban where they went in and pulled, all these people's weapons away from them. And I mean, it was a sad thing. Well, their crime rate went up 64%. You take the ability to protect yourself away, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Criminals are just going to go, all right, open season, don't have to worry about it. As sad as it is, yes, we probably need to have someone armed in every school, every public gathering. I mean, that's where these things take place. These lunatics go in where they're public gatherings where they know that honest Americans are not allowed to have guns. If they're allowed to have guns, they're not going to go there because they don't want to have anybody shooting back at them. They're cowards. We need to stand up, America, and if you're not a member of the NRA, you need to be a member of the NRA. We need to protect our rights, our civilians' rights to bear arms. I mean, concealed carry weapons permits should be all across the United States. Crime rates will go down. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. Kennesaw, Georgia, instituted, I shouldn't use that word, instituted a law to where it was mandatory to have a gun in the home. Crime rates dropped. Don't believe me? Look it up, Google it. You'll see it to be a fact. Ben Stein posted where he lives in Sandpoint, North Iowa. Their crime rate is down to about nothing. You can buy guns left and right. No big deal. But where he spends a lot of his time in Los Angeles, well, we know it's an extremely high crime rate there. And they have strict gun control. Like I said, D.C.'s the same thing. Chicago's the same thing. I mean, gun control is not the answer. Yes, you need to have limitations, but these psychos are going to do whatever they want. I mean, you take people like Ted Bundy and any serial killer. They go out and they kill 10, 20, 30, 100 people, whatever. They're not doing it with a gun. And what they do to these poor people is unfortunately, any death is bad, but they do far worse than just shooting them. They mutilate them. They torture them. But we can't hold society as a whole responsible for what some lunatic does. That goes the same to be said for someone that uses a handgun instead of a knife or a bomb. We're not going to ban knives. Timothy McVeigh didn't use a handgun. He used a bomb. 9/11 didn't use a bomb. A gun. I'm sorry. They used a airplane and razor blades and such. And everybody's promoting this school massacre as being, the worst school massacre in history. Well, that's not true because the worst massacre in history happened back in 1927. It didn't even have anything to do with a handgun. Another lunatic that lost an election for a town position he wanted, I forget what it was, went crazy in a school and set off a bomb and wound up killing 45 people. You know, that's just proof that people are going to use whatever means necessary to do damage. You know, it's a cowardly thing to go in and slaughter sheep, which is basically what they're doing, because these kids can't protect themselves. There needs to be protection in the schools in today's society. It's that simple, because people are so easily influenced by television, music, what have you, video games. I mean, all of this stuff influences people. Their mindset is not of the norm. They are not, you know, obviously not clearly thinking about what they're doing in the realm of the result. They're thinking about themselves, their 15 minutes of fame. They have mommy or daddy issues, and I don't mean that to be funny. I mean, they do have mental issues. And the media doesn't report things properly. I mean, they said, you know, this last shooting, the guy killed his mom at the school. Well, he didn't. She was at home. He killed his dad in another state. That wound out not to be true. Said his brother was involved. I believe that wound up not. I mean, there's so many things they report. Our media doesn't report the truth. They report what they want to keep us riled up, to keep us on edge, to keep us worried. They shouldn't call it news. They should just call it the bad news of the day. There's a lot of good things that happen in America that don't get talked about. But not to get off the subject, the gun ban thing, that's not, if you think that's going to help, that's only going to hurt this country, and you can look the stats up. I didn't dig up all these stats, you know, and that's the thing about most of us Americans that are fighting for our rights or want to maintain our rights. We don't have the time to go out and participate in every, you know, hoo-ha, you know, gathering to try to get things going on. I'm so frustrated right now I can't even think. You know, of what to call it. You know, we don't have time to go out and propaganda against things that we want. We have to work for a living. But one thing, you know, Ronald Reagan said that is really true and correct, and I'll say this and then let you get on your way. It's cut and dry. We must reject the idea that every time a law is broken, society is guilty rather than the lawbreaker. It's time to restore the American precept that each individual is accountable for his actions. And that's the bottom line. To take tons of rights away from law-abiding citizens because of a few idiots, and I say few when you consider the population versus the actions that take place, it is that. I mean, more people die from car wrecks, drug overdoses, you know, the list goes on. Is what happened, you know, killing children, is that bad? It's horrific. I feel horrible for those that were involved in that, for the ones that lost their loved ones and children and that had to suffer it. But that's one of you know, many horrible things that happen in this world. But again, to try and penalize and promote an agenda, President Obama, and I won't say any more than President Obama, you know, using this to push his agenda, this was, you know, a great stepping stone for him. And, you know, the Democrats and you know, liberals, they're going to use whatever they can. Again, they don't want to get confused with the facts because they've already got their minds made up, as a friend of mine quotes. And, you know, that's a sad thing. Our media doesn't report factually, which is disgusting. And again, if you're not a member of the NRA, and I'm just saying this, you need to, and you know, please, without starting arguments with your friends, your liberal friends, try to educate them. And you know, again, God be with those families and the loss of their loved ones in Connecticut. And you know, just some food for thought. I appreciate your time, and have a great day.